podcast. Hosted by Wanda Suero, also known as Salty Coffee, Dazzle Daniels, also known as Dazzle G, and myself, Elruby Thomas, known as Miss Ruby, Crypto Queen of Harlem, y'all. Tune in weekly as we strive to educate and elevate our community's financial literacy. We bring you professional and expert speakers, share insights from our personal wealth journeys, and introduce workshops and resources to empower you. Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com at P2G Networks TV for an hour of Black Girl Power, where we're shaping the future of finance in Web3. Peace and see you there. All right. Welcome to P2G Presents Black Girls in Web3. Shall we begin?
Hey, Ms. Ruby.
Hello, my love.
Hey, Daz.
Blessings. I'm your host, Elruby Thomas, and we have our special guest, the BK Bruja Labs. Hello. So today we're gonna start out early. I'm gonna give over this platform to our sister, the BK Bruja, and let her do what she does. Let's go.
Ashe. Well, welcome and thank you. I'm the BK Bruja Labs, and I'm grateful to be on the Black Girls in Web 3.0. This was a long time coming, and I'm grateful to be here today. And I definitely wanted to just start off with just, who I am. Fourth year practicing witch, or fourth generation, I should say, practicing witch, shaman, Akashic record reader, psychic medium, and also just all about teaching us how to support ourselves through spiritual, holistic practices and keeping our mind, body, and soul in alignment with the things that we're doing when we're going through our goals, and also just our financial pursuits, right? There's a lot of us that are entrepreneurs. There's a lot of us that are business owners. And a lot of the time that balance of keeping your mind, your spiritual self, and your, physical body and your workloads all balance is a very big and fine thing to do. But when you don't know how to do that, you need resources and people to support you to do that. And that's where I come into play. And I've been doing this now for about 5 years, going on professionally, but I think this been my whole life. Since I was 3, I've seen and heard things and was able to connect with spirits. So using that energy to teach others how to work with themselves and their mind, body, and soul, and being holistic in that practice. So with that, I was going to say we could hit the sound bowl for a quick second just to give everyone a deep breath, get us started. And I know we're going to have a great topic to talk about. And so just to set the intention for all those that need to hear it, to understand, and let them not only get the information, but take it. And like I like to say, walk it like you talk it. Okay. So we're going to set that intention tonight. And I'm just going to hit the sound bowl and just take a deep breath in. And you're going to exhale. We ask for the intention to be set for us to hear, know, and see the things that are necessary for our abundance, our breakthrough, especially during these times economically. And we give gratitude for the resources that support us in this journey. Ashe. All right. And that's how I usually start off my time and day. So just a little tidbit of what I do in some of the sessions that we would work with, just to give you a little sample.
Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you. I'm going to tell you right now, I was like, wow, that just took me back to the 420 event. And it was like, I was sitting there going, BK Bruja, what does that mean? What's she going to do? I know Bruja means witch. So what are we about to do? And it was phenomenal. It was peaceful, at the same time exciting. And it was like, there's an energy that comes from just the breathing and the time. And yes, I forgot all about the chimes and the bowl. And I was like, I'm like,
that's the good part. You remember the most important part, and that's the breathing, because breath is life and the prana breathing is important. So connecting to that breath and remembering that is so important, especially during these times where anxiety, depression is so high. We don't necessarily breathe to be breathing to live. And so when you can connect to that breath and do that breath work, that is so important. And so I'm glad to hear that. So thank you for that.
So good, because I could tell you right now. I told you I was going to tell you what happened. So what had went down after that? ladies and gentlemen, y'all know how we get down. This is a conversation. The ladies, y'all are in the ladies' room right now, listening like a fly on the wall. We're gonna be talking about it all. And this is our amazing Friday that we do what we do. And just want y'all to know, I was physically at, and I was recording, because that was my job. I produce it. I was recording the event, and I met this wonderful woman, as one of our presenters, and just was setting her up and everything. And it's like I took a class. I took the class.
Oh, thank
you.
And
I had to thank you, because your class has helped me in real world, not just in my personal own self. It literally helped me get my uncle through a serious ordeal of back and forth in hospitals. He got sick. So first of all, he got ill, and he had a blockage which we found out was cancerous. Okay. And he was going through some pain and having so much. I could see what you were talking about when people don't breathe properly. It almost like it supports pain. It supports the lack of thought. And I did the breathing. I said, okay, we got to breathe, baby. We got to breathe. I need you to take some deep, deep breaths and cleanse it out. People couldn't talk to this man until I got there. There was times when they were like, we can't get him. He would not actually function. He wouldn't do anything they said until I got to the hospital. And when I got there, I said, no problem. I got this. And I was able to get him. I said, first of all, I need just to take those breaths. Let's take those breaths, because you're not breathing. He had been going through excessive, he had gotten ill and had a huge amount. And I didn't know this about potassium. When your body fills with potassium, it can cause you to have it's almost like dementia. Mm-hmm. It's almost like immediate dementia. And his levels were so high, they were like, we're not shocked. So they kept thinking he had dementia. They thought he came in there that way. Mm. I said, no. I talked to this man like a normal person 4 days ago. So therefore, we need to know what's going on. And y'all gonna give him a minute till he can answer your questions. And by the time we had done some deep breathing, it helped him to pull himself together somewhat. So they weren't putting him in a new section. And I said, you know what? I will make sure that I share this with you, because
gratitude.
This is, and I'm going to tell you, a whole month straight, sis, a whole month back and forth. We do this every time. When he sees me, we do our breathing. We calm down. We pull it together. And he's like, he's fine.
Right.
He's all good. He got dealt some really, really bad news. He has cancer. Mm. And it was a process to tell him, because after going through surgery, I mean, he has a stoma. He has to live. This man is 80 years old. He's already a cancer survivor.
Right.
And to find out that he now has lymphoma, we didn't know we didn't know how to tell him. So we sat down and did some deep breathing.
Yes.
And we sat down, we breathed right through this conversation. And I was like so serious about this. I said, he was like, no problem. It's like it didn't get him. If he did cry, it was on his own.
Right.
But right then and there, he was in his mind. He was in his space. What do we need to do? He said, he always goes, Ruby, I don't know what I would do if y'all wasn't here. Because this is who we are. But and this is my husband's uncle. But I told I let them know. I said, he my uncle. He my uncle. They always ask me, who are you? That's my uncle. Because that's my uncle. We are all family. I didn't just get married to a man. I married the entire family like he married mine. And for me, this is so important, because he's 80 years old. The man's got a spirit. Oh my, not talking about, he's fresh. He bad. He sassy. You know what I'm saying? He the lover man. Everybody love him. They all want him to be the husband. And he's so sweet. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, It's one of those people you be like, no, I was in tears when I found out he had cancer. I was like, no. And then I had to go into my breathing. I got it together. I got me and my husband
And
back
I'm
together.
glad that you said that. I'm glad that you said so. There was a couple of things as you were talking. I was just, getting some things and messages coming through. But I was just gonna say, continue and maintain that breath even through the treatments that they may be giving
Yep.
him. Alkaline diets are so important, especially with mucus in the body. Mucus is very built up. A lot of the herbs that we can take to also help with that. I would just say, just based on some of the medication they may give him, you have to just see what herbs that he can be approved for. But just even thinking, like as you were talking, mullein came to mind. So mullein, you can make tea with that. Mullein, Mullien. It's really good for lungs and breathing and breath and just the body in itself. But mullein leaf came up, and I heard sassafras. Sassafras is really good for the blood, cleansing the blood, which most people don't know. And you can take that as a tea, and you can make these as herbal teas. But like I said, just make sure you get clearance from the doctor, just in terms of whatever other or anything he's taking, because some of the herbs do sometimes can counterintuitive with the man-made drugs. But alkaline in the diet and that body pH is going to be very helpful in just prolonging the life. And just thinking of it too, because I think one of the things that mindsets are everything. You ever notice, like, and this is something I was saying during COVID time, like people like, I don't got COVID. I was around so-and-so and I don't got COVID. Well, so-and-so got tested and we were all at the same party. I need you to go get tested. And you're like, I don't have it. Right. As soon as you got tested, they said you have COVID. Then all of a sudden the symptoms come up, right? You got all the symptoms, you feel everything. You're like, oh,
exactly.
Every time you get diagnosed with something, the mind and the gut will come together and like, we have it. Now the body is doing the programming to take that energy on. And so when we think about it, yes, you may have cancer, but cancer lives in our body, period. When we're born.
Exactly.
White blood cells is what cancer is. So when you can reduce the amount of white blood cells, that creates that space for you in order to maintain your body's alkaline acidity in the body. That's very important. So that's one thing I would say. Just those are some things, but also the deep breathing, going through this and making him understand we're prolonging our life. We're living longevity. There's a difference when you think about it as a longevity thing versus I have cancer, I got to live with it. No, we're prolonging our life. We're doing things to prolong and give that longevity. And even just what you were speaking about the breath, just connected to the breath, how when we slow ourselves down long enough, okay, how do we problem solve? What are we doing to fix this? Right? That's the first thing that comes to mind. Because your brain is now able to slow down enough and it's getting connected to breath that keeps our life force going. That is now we're stable enough to become solution based, as opposed to thinking about the problem. The matrix programming is real, right? And so we live in a fast pace. Everything is go, 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 go. That's why we breathe the way we move.
That
go
is so
on the train or go see people in the supermarket and it's busy on a day. They breathe how they move. You have to slow it down. You
just reminded me of somebody. So a statement one of my good friends used to tell me. She said, she moved here from Georgia. Okay. She moved here from Georgia. She said, I don't take deep breaths in New York since I got here. She can't. She said, New York smell keeps the smell of New York. She said, I take short, shallow breaths since I lived here. I said, you still here?
Breathing like a fish out of water. What you doing?
So when you said that it came up, I was like, oh, you ain't never lied. I ain't trying to smell it there either.
Yes.
But we have to get above the smell. We got to get oxygen into our brains. And I said that was the most important part of it. It helped me to woosah, relax, let it out. Because I'm not going to kid you, I took this on a lot stronger than he did. Now that's the other thing about being a cancer survivor.
Right.
He's old school. I did this. I'll beat this.
Yes.
Okay. I'll either beat
adding
it,
the longevity piece is going to be helpful.
Yes.
It's like a marathon. I'm running a marathon. I'm not doing this just like one off. So it's
this isn't a one off. Exactly.
So
it's not a one off.
You're running the marathon. It's the longevity of life. We're doing this for longevity of life. It's like something about that's going to be very helpful in keeping his mind on that, that competitive, I got to keep my eye on the prize. I'm kind of beating this thing. But he is 80, I'm saying he's getting to that point where it's like, I lived a good life, we could go either way. But longevity,
just and you have a good life to live. That's right. And not only that, like I say, I always say, I'm going to live this till the wheels fall off. I put in on my meter, I put in my request for 113.
Okay,
I
I
said, I'll
want
take
120. I want to look
136.
like this at 120, walking around. You'll be like, how old are you? I'm like
That's what I'm
119,
talking
and I
about.
got
Yes,
one more day
thank
to my
you.
birthday kind of energy. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
I'm like, y'all don't know how old I am. And it's a beautiful
Right.
thing because it's not like I'm not letting it go, you know?
Yes.
So I'm just like, how did you start here? How did you get to be
So
the
a lot of
BK
people always
Bruja?
ask me about how my name became the BK Bruja Laugh. So I'll start with that. So the BK Bruja Laugh, one, I'm from Brooklyn. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, and so I pay homage to where I come from. Bed-Stuy, Fort Greene, Clinton Hills. Those are the areas I grew up in as a young lady, and so my lineage of just being around different women who tutelaged me, and just different people in the culture of Brooklyn. You know, it's such a diverse melting pot, but so many people that poured into me. It was like I got to pay homage to where I come from. Bruja, like I said, is a witch, but ultimately most people think about like charmed witches, or what's the one with the twinkling nose, or Sabrina the Teenage Witch. But a witch to me essentially is just a healer, a natural healer, someone that works with the herbs, someone works with the resources of the earth to help heal the world and to help us heal ourselves, because the body naturally can repair itself, right? And so when we learn how to utilize what we have as resources here, including the food we eat and the meat that we consume, because we're not supposed to eat meat all the time, right? We are to eat more fruits and vegetables. Even knowing your blood type and knowing how to eat based on your blood type. Some blood types are not meant to eat meat. Some are meant to have a balance. Some are to eat more vegetables than they do consume meat. And those are things that you want to look at when you're looking at how your longevity of life is going to be and what we're doing in our lifespan. And just talking about I know we talked about getting into the economy and things of that nature, and how financially, when there's recessions or there's things happening where things economically are not good, how much stress and pressure that puts on families and people on how they're going to make ends meet, and the cost of food and the cost of living, and just the stress of all of those things just to get your basic needs met, can create such a discord in your body, a discord in your, people walk around with their shoulders like this all day, right? You're never at ease. There's always tension. So working on ways to delve more into the holistic practices, that's stuff that I, support you through. But it's just like, the more that we get into this information, right, the more that we share it. And like you said, there was something that you learned in a 420 event. We were doing a summit, and then you took it home with you to your family, and then they take it to someone else, and there might have been a nurse watching you, and then it becomes a catalyst to create the world of healing, right? It starts with the tools. I love to tell people, I'm gonna show you how to fish, but then I'm giving you your rod and your worm so that you can fish for your family. And it's simple things, right? We take things for breathing for granted, but every time you breathe, that's how you live, right? When a baby breathes, they breathe in their stomach. We breathe up here, but breathing into your stomach is a different type of vibration in the body. So, when it comes to these times of economic downturn, I always tell people, find ways that you can connect with yourself spiritually, meditating, finding ways that you can take self-care moments, because they're important. I think COVID was a turning point for the world to just really see, when you stop, what was really taking up your time, right? Like, what was important to you?
Right.
Things started to shift for people, right? They had to reposition things that were most important to them, because it took a toll on their body. It took a toll on their stress levels, or it took a toll on how they were working. You have to adjust. And as creatures of habit, we don't like to adjust. So the more you do this work, like you said, we're going to breathe through this conversation. That was a huge adjustment for him.
Yes. Yes.
And he was ready to be solution-based based on just working through and connecting to that breath. So in the breath of life, I can talk about it all day, but just definitely do your work, research, pranayama, breathing, how important it is to connect, and just our melanated selves, how magical we are, and our carbonated selves, just making sure that you're connecting to all the parts of yourself that are those elements. So yeah.
Wow.
Definitely on that topic. I love this. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes,
and thank you for just letting me know that you did that.
I was like, so, okay. And, we had so many, just so many amazing teachers there were that day. I love it, because I began to understand more and more. Please forgive me. I have to take these off. I began to understand more and more how all of this connects. Our financial wellness, and our physical wellness, and our emotional wellness are all connected. They are required in order for us. That's a balance that we've got to make happen on a regular basis. Everybody's in the pursuit of having more, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy.
And what does more mean, right? Like what is comfortable to you? Because sometimes we just figure the programming is, I have to have more. but more of what? Like, what is it that you're getting? Because a lot of times we're taught the answers outside, right? So we have to buy the car, we'll feel better. You buy the car, you still feel the same. You got to buy the dress. You buy the dress, you still feel the same. So then it's like, well, where is the balance? Then you have to say, well, why do I need to buy this stuff to feel good about myself? What is that bringing up for me? What is the world telling me about myself? And so we get in this programming of, if you fake it till you make it, it's just keep faking it, right? But nobody talks about that emotional stress of faking it.
Exactly.
Being your authentic self, how stressful that is. Because now you're making this up, and I did this, and then you got to keep up with everything, and it's just like, when we can slow ourselves down within our own personal journey, it makes it so much easier to focus on the entrepreneurship journey in a way, and in the economic journey, that we're not panicking when the world is panicking, because we have solutions, right? We're looking for solutions based. We're looking at ways we can pivot our business. And the more that you meditate, the more that you sit with the energy, and you sit and learn how to connect with your ancestors, because that's another part of it that is a big piece to it too, and God, and just being able to sit with yourself and get those messages. You have a whole business before you know it. You're like, wait a minute, I'm 20 years ahead of everybody else. How did I get there? Right? Because it's you taking that time. It's that time to understand, like you said, emotional, economical health, your emotional states. Those are very important pieces, because if you can't take care of your basic needs, are you living? You can't live, right? And so
we're constantly. I'm just wondering, because is it just me? But I'm observing that we are constantly placing our emotions, we're constantly placing priorities on these things in the wrong place. It's like you prioritize getting your money, and then you're emotional during it, and of course causing all kinds of havoc on your health. Yet, if we were focused, and I have to say this, thank you so much to Wanda, Miss Salty Coffee up in here, who focuses every Sunday on Self-Care Sunday.
Yes.
Literally reminding us to do that every week in little ways. How to do it.
That's accountability right there. So keeping accountability to yourself and doing that's important, and having the space to do that and being consistent in that, that's amazing. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All for it.
My goal is for me, I have to build a network, because I realize I got to build a community around the things I need for my life, because it gets hectic. My life is built around helping others. Mm-hmm. And when your life is so involved in helping others, you can get away from the process of caring for yourself. So having people in my community remind me, hello, we get in on Sunday, Self-Care Sundays at 11 o'clock in the morning. Be there or be square. And she's not kidding. Because I be in here fumbling for the phone, looking for, like,
and speaking to that divine goddess energy, because we're master nurturers as women, right? Master nurturers as women. This is what we do. We are taking care of the family, taking care of this, doing the business, the husband, the kids, and then don't have an extended circle of friends or sisters, and then other people you're responsible for. Like you said, you have an uncle, you're taking care of elderly parents. There's so many different buckets that come into this, and then, like you said, having that time to replenish. And a lot of times, I don't want to get into it, this might not be the time, but you can't come to this world unless you come through a womb.
Thank you.
Right? So those wombs and those people that possess them, we have a lot of things that we do, but there has to be some care to maintaining that vessel, because you are a master nurturer in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of the stuff that we're seeing right now in the world is that there is this energy where that divine energy of women coming back into a role of leadership in a way that hasn't been seen in a long time is reinventing itself for a reason, right? And so finding ways to balance ourselves as that transition's happening. Because there's a lot of places that you're seeing women get in these powerful leadership places, and we're seeing the difference in the trajectory of things. So I'm just land my plane.
No, by all means, you are you're hitting it right on the head, because it's almost like the world itself is starting to see a need to heal itself. And from the factor is that that's where it all starts. The ultimate nurturing factor of life has been the womb. Okay, we wouldn't be here
men
without
and women. Let's be clear, because men and women have wombs, and
exactly. No, I do you realize
clear on that too?
I realize that most people don't know that that all of us start out as female. Every one of us in birth, before we ever hit. I'm so sorry. I got to get some water. Before we're ever designated at a certain point in our development, we're all female. Every one of us. We are the potential of feminine. Did y'all know that?
Yes.
Most people, most men never want to accept that. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, they didn't want to know, but a sister had to tell you something. Okay. And that came from learning science. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm going to straighten up. Dazzle, get up in here, gal.
And I was just going to say to your point about men and women having the phallus, the men's phallus is considered the woman's uterus. If you look at the shape of it, if you really look at the shape of the male's penis, it's just the fallen uterus and what it creates. And we are what, like the frogs, I think they talked about frogs, how they will change evolutionary wise based on what's needed. So you have more feminized frogs based on some stuff that they've done, but they can also turn into male frogs because, evolution needs the population to be balance. And so it's the same thing for the reproductive male and female organs in humans. And you can definitely do research on it. I know this sounds weird and trippy, but they try to hide everything in plain sight.
I had a quick question. How did you and Daz meet? Because she's all the way in one state and how did you guys meet?
I was going to say 2 strings in a can. Was it that way, Daz? How do we do that? I'll put it on you now.
So we were in a course a few years ago, and we for me, I didn't even know there was like so many people on the same vibe. So it's during the pandemic, and we built an online tribe. So
yeah, and I think during those times we were on after dark Zoom calls 24/7. I mean, slumber parties
every day,
right? every day. To the point where it's like, okay, who's taking their kids to school? Who's going on to school? But who's doing what? And it's like we're cooking breakfast and everybody's just kind of vibing. And it was like, like I said, COVID was a time where you created friendships and developed, networks just through internet, right? And just being around each other. And so we started in a group of entrepreneurs just really thinking about ways to just pivot and understand, like, what can we do in these times where you can't work your regular job? The world doesn't know what they're doing. Everything has to stop, but bills don't stop. The Con Edison ain't, stopping the electric payments. Yep. So make the math. And so it was like, okay, we're spending this time to really learn what are you good at, right? And Dad's really taught a lot of classes on like cryptocurrency. That was my way of really getting introduced to that. And then, like, from there, the relationship just, flourished and continued to flourish. And so the 420 event, I think we've done a Black Friday takeover at one point.
Nice.
It was all about the economy and taking over Black Friday and making it about entrepreneurs for us, by us type energy. So we've done a couple of events together and just, continue to support and uplift and bring the knowledge and awareness to our community. I mean, it makes sense at this point in time. What else can we do? We're seeing the world and how it's changing, and the people who are melanated and indigenous seem to always get the last of the last. And it's like, no, we're not doing that this summer. Not this lifetime for me. I didn't come back for this. I'm coming back trying to live joy, grace, and ease in all ways.
Thank you.
We got to figure this out. Make the math, as my kids would tell me. So
that's right. That's right. And I love it when Dee says that. She's like, you have to make the math. I'm like, you got that right. Because life is life, for sure. And I'm like, it's so amazing how all of this comes. I'm like so blessed to have all of you ladies, in my network and be this close. A lot of women, for some odd reason, we get this whole labeling of being catty, not being able to support each other. And I just want to put it out there. That's not happening here. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. All of the time that I have built in cryptocurrency, as well as financial literacy, I have never once had a group of women be catty toward each other. Nothing but supportive, nothing but, literally being able to identify with each other and support each other through whatever. The sisterhood, I have a stronger sisterhood, and I cannot say that about my personal sisters because we're very connected. Even when we're upset at each other, we're very connected. It's like, it's just all part of it. Get over it. And it's like, you don't get that in the world so often. And now I've found myself in an amazing sisterhood that is growing. I mean, it is just like, I'm like, ladies, y'all want to come here? Come to Black Girls Do Crypto, because this is something you don't see often. We want to see each other win. We are willing to help each other win. And I always remind my non-melanated sisters or my lightly melanated sisters that you too, boo boo.
Yes,
You a
absolutely.
sister, get over yourself. You know what I'm saying? You was born with a womb like me. All right. And it turned into a womb. It didn't drop.
And
You know what I'm saying?
it,
Straight up.
it's just such a beautiful feeling. Like soon as I meet people, they're like, "Oh yeah," I'm like, "You gotta meet my friends. You gotta meet my friends," because like this online village is amazing, and we have some dope
Exactly.
individuals, and I just feel fortunate. Like everybody doesn't find their tribe, you know. That's just the reality. So for to
And
be in a
keep the
place where
intention of
I feel
being
like I found
genuine
it is great.
and
I
being
believe
intentional. Being intentional and genuine with each other is
exactly.
very, very important.
You
You
were
know,
looking,
some of
honey. That's
these
right.
communities, you meet people and it's like, oh wait, hold on, what's going on? Because you hear things here and there, but it's like when you're genuine, you build that community, it makes such a difference. It's so
Exactly.
empowering.
One of the biggest points that I try to make with folks is that people always say, you gotta protect your energy. You gotta protect yourself. Miss Ruby, people are coming for you. And I'm like, okay. I don't acknowledge that. That's not where power lies with me. I don't give it energy. My energy is such that it literally protects itself. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it scientifically. I'm sorry, I gotta take this other again on my face. But I can't describe it scientifically, but when it comes to it, my armor comes with who I am. It's built into the energy.
It's
When
in the
you are
DNA.
focused on exactly, it's like when you are focused on what you're focused on, there is nothing that is acknowledged other than your goal. And there's folks that be like, I just want the best for you. And I'm like, I do too. And I want the best for you. So I need you to get back on your goal and stay focused because you will find that the wrong people that came in will take themselves right out and they don't even need no help.
And I'm gonna say we have to learn how to eliminate people pleasing because there's this energy of if I want to see the best for you, I want to see the best for you, but you don't think about yourself, like you have to understand that that's also a place of feeling things from maybe it's abandonment, maybe
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
heard, right? But it's like, I want to do everything for you. It's like, we have to learn how to not people please, but really find that balance. And as women with the role that we
Mhm.
play, it's like, it's
Yep.
okay. We do these things, but you got to find that balance. You got to
And I
find
do.
that balance within yourself.
And girl, you don't understand. It took some time to realize that's what it's funny because sometimes we don't realize that's what we're doing. It's what we don't even, oh no, I'm not, that's not what, trust me, girl. I'm like, no, 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 slow
Or
your
that
roll.
selfless, oh no, go ahead and eat. I'm not hungry now. You heard your stomach growl. Get you a piece of food.
Right.
But you guys eat. I'll eat later. No, get you a piece of cheese. Stop sitting up here on this cheese. And they're going to be greedy going for seconds and thirds. You ain't even get a crumb or morsel out of that
Exactly.
bowl. You better go get you some
I
food.
tell everybody, and it's so funny because when I met my husband, that's all we did. We ate. And he was like, damn, you can eat. Yes, I can. And I will. So don't get it twisted. And I'll pay for my food too if you ain't got it.
Right. That part.
We took care of that. I already took care of this bill. You ain't got to worry about that. He was like, you were like no other woman I ever dated. I said, and I will always be that way.
And I think that's important that you say that too. Be yourself as a woman. I think there's so much of this stigma in the media where everybody got to have the lace front to the one side and all the hairs that's babied out and everyone looks alike. I mean, I've seen so many girls that are so beautiful, and I'm just like, you guys walk down the block. Wait, no, is that okay? Wait, who's everyone looks like? Be yourselves, please. Don't zip up in my meat suit because I like who I am, but I want you to be yourself. And what is the world's programming to our younger generation behind them, right? Because these girls have to be able to be empowered to know who they are and be confident because they're going to be passed the baton. And that just shows you the world's program is like the less that they are connected to understanding this rites of passage and what it means to really be a woman in this world. We are seeing relationships and all kinds of just things being very drastic in ways that have not been this way in a long time because we're not taking the time to really
trend based.
What is the programming?
Exactly.
What is coming up for us?
I was on a show. So we do a morning show. We have morning shows that we do. Before then, I get to peek into other people's shows, and I do. And we had one of my favorite couples happens to be amazing, and they always put up different comparisons, this or that, which one, and they happen to put up some different types of R&B and different types of rap, and one was they let us listen to a little bit of two different types of rap. and one was very vulgar. I'm talking about the back in the day, and then compared to what, Salt and Pepper we're talking about. And I realized, I said, wow, the whole song was about this girl getting down and how she present herself as the best what, and how her man could this, that, and the other, and how, he could put that money on it and all of this. And I'm like, you know how many songs I've actually heard that are mimicking that right now? And now that you have this new power, this is what you're putting out there. This is all you have to offer. Because
and did you hear that you said that they're making money the root of what your resource is?
Yeah,
and what
absolutely. It's all about that money. It's all about, and I said, you know what? And someone was saying, well, what is it? I said, one, that's the industry. They don't really have power. It's the look of empowered women. It is not the being of empowered women. TLC was empowered. SWV was empowered. En Vogue was empowered. These are groups, by the way. There were empowered women who had, Queen Latifah was empowered. These are rappers. You know what I'm saying? Rappers that knew that they had value as a woman, as a person. And they're in the Hall of Fame. They're in the Hall of Fame. And that came from them doing way more than just rapping. They had to break a mold. They couldn't just be one of the. I said, because I'm gonna be honest, what's so funny? I stopped watching certain videos because I couldn't tell who was actually singing. I got caught up between Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, and Cardi B, and I couldn't tell who was who. I'm gonna be really honest.
They all got the head to the same side. It's just a different color. That's it. You can't tell. Everybody's build a body. I call it build a body.
It's like from the
look
to the content, almost
the era of cumbrellas and claws.
Yes. And I'm like, okay, well, where's the people who, because when we start talking about the news, now we're going into the financial news. Cardi B stood out by saying one thing that made sense to me. She said, all these people coming into this country, we can't feed our people. What are we doing? And this woman comes from immigrants. So if an immigrant says the same thing, she's like, we got budget to bring people into the country, but we don't got budgets for the people on the benches in our streets who are going homeless now. And I was like, wow, that made her stand out for me as a woman. Not her music, her content. I'm like, oh, okay. I see why they got the hook, but they're not hooking me. And not that I'm older and I'm trying to, another young man was like, all these older women, these girls are coming up. I said, yeah, no. I don't want my kids to think that's a come up. I don't need the next generation of younger children thinking that's a come up. Because that's not a come up for women. That's actually taking us the other direction. That kind of activity was survival activity at one time. That was how.
And you know what's the interesting part about that?
Mm-hmm.
She says the same thing. You shouldn't allow your children to look at me as a role model.
Right.
And you have to respect that too. She's doing what she needs to do to feed her children, and that's the world today. Yeah.
Exactly.
But the part that I like now is that women are taking over traditional industries that have been taken over by men. And I think that's where I look at the respect of do your thing. It's not for me. It may not be for my daughters. I'm grateful that we have also women to showcase our success the way we want it, right? For our children, but that's one thing that I respect about these ladies that are now doing their thing. They're doing it on their own terms and conditions. And it is what it is. And I'm happy that that this generation is able to look at that like, well, if she did it on her own terms, she doesn't have anybody, beating her up. You got to work for me type of thing. She's doing her own thing. And that's one thing that's what I look at when it comes to Black women in Web 3.0. We're doing what men have been doing for years without including us. in the process. And to be quite
Right.
frankly, all of the men that have been in successful industries, it's usually a
Mhm.
woman behind it.
Yeah. It's regardless of the
They
face
might
you
have a
don't
whole
see.
team of women, but we're not gonna go there. I'm just that part.
Yeah.
Just
And
saying. Just saying.
and sometimes, sometimes I hate to say it, people um people don't know how many industries are really still and have been controlled by women, but could not by face because of the relationship that men keep with each other. Ironclad. It's to make it seem like. And I'm just glad that we are starting to come up, step up. You know what I'm saying? When we counted all the presidents, of course, presidents and prime ministers that are now women of all
Right.
these countries and all of these places, across the world, from about 2020 on to now. I'm like, oh, really?
And looking at what's happening economically and politically in those countries where there
But
are women leaders.
yes, now that becomes the conversation. Those women inherited okay, they inherited a burning bag, y'all, a burning bag,
Yes.
and are in a position right now to make decisions. And I tell you, it's not easy, because I remind folks, people go, oh, Obama did this and Donald Trump did this and they did this. I said, I need folks to remember those are jobs. I'd like to see you take a job on and come in and tell everybody, that this house gonna go down. The company gonna be run like this now. He took a job. He didn't rewrite the Constitution. None of them did.
And you want to hear the most interesting part of that campaigning for? It took a black man to become president before a white woman, and I always looked at that in that manner. That's how this country is so like caught up with the men patriarch, whatever, to rule the world. But I am so happy to see so many women faces representing us women of color in Congress.
And exactly, that's one of the things I'm like, we don't know, the people don't understand the structure of power. That's one of the reasons why Obama this and the Donald Trump this. You really think that these people got just check it off? They're not monarchs. They're presidents. They have boards.
Well, the way we're moving.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that we think, oh, he did this without permission. Don't get it twisted. No, he didn't. Don't get it twisted. That's a great brand. It's a great brand. But yeah, there were
and
people,
even to your point of even the political campaigns, a lot of the time the women who are running those campaigns for them to win are women, right? They're staff. A lot of the staff members who run these political campaigns for them on the campaign trail are women, and they're the brains behind the brand, the brains behind their messaging. And so, like you said, and it just brought me to the thoughts of hidden figures. But how many hidden figures that energy has been for women, and it's now becoming an industry, and the world itself is starting to say, hey, maybe we need to give women more of a platform. And then I think there's a place for us to build that confidence in being able to understand you do make decisions from a fair place. You do make decisions from a nurturing standpoint. You do make decisions from a compassionate, empathetic place versus ego, right? Because divine feminine energy is emotions. It is that. I mean, we do some chaotic things too. Don't get me wrong, because chaos can also bring change too. Sometimes you have to have that. But it's that energy of what that representation of that need right now. We've had so much of this physical go, and capitalism is all about what you can grab and what you can take, and where has that gotten us, right? It's just this energy of physical, tangible. That's divine masculine energy all day. When you go to an emotional divine feminine energy, it's nurturing, it's emotional, it's feeling, it's healing. It's also can be, like I said, that chaos, but from that chaos, you can also get something very magical from it too.
Balance, baby. That's right.
Absolutely.
It's weird that people don't get that it's all needed. I said most situations where you have an unevenness is led through by fear. If you have people who mistreat other people, afraid that if you empower, you decide to get your act together and recognize that you did something wrong, that they're going to do it to you. It's like, but why? Why does it have to be you do it to me first? Or I do it to you first before you get to do it to me? Why can't we just be in a place where we work this thing together? We want to see chaos and calm come together, because that's where resolution lies. It is always life. And it shows up in nature, y'all. Those natural wildfires aren't happening because God is mad at us. It's happening because God is trying to burn away so that new plant can come up. But we don't even see nature. We got to literally burn away all this negative energy, all of this. We got to use it. We got to use it, because I tell you right now, it just leads back over to the positive side. Everything comes to equilibrium in science and in nature and everything.
Right.
Except the human mind. For some odd reason, the human mind will stay uneven. I think we can just function. It's like, no, I'm fine. No, that's not fine. You're not fine. You will be fine when you recognize that you're not fine. And then you get to a place of what makes you that, you know.
And just to go back to what you said about the economy, I think there's a big piece to that too, that when it comes to just looking at economy and just the way that the world is moving, how, you know, with women and, you know, just having households, right? Having to make things stretch, having to be able to create with less, more with less, right? That is such a magical thing to do. And I don't know if, you know, the survival mode of how things are created. It's like there's things that we take for granted that you can do when you are in that emotional state of calmness and you're able to connect with your emotions, and then you can become solutions based. And I think that's a big part of this patriarchy matriarchy balance that needs to happen, is that we need solutions, concrete solutions that look at everybody as one person, as one thing that needs to take care of their basic needs. Because what's mom going to do? My kids need shoes, clothes, and things. I'm going to make it happen by any means necessary, right? That's that energy. So that matriarchy energy, even if it's not your own kids, you do it for other people's kids sometimes, right? Like how universal we can be. And I just wanted to say, because I saw this post somewhere on Facebook, and it said, women learn how to grow to love. Men either love you or they don't, right? That's they're either or. It's not. But women grow to love things. Why is that? Right? Why do we grow to love things? Because that love is what's that universal energy to make things better. Because when you can grow and evolve with something and realize, well, it's not so bad, or maybe I should look at them this way, or maybe they need compassion. We create spaces to create those solutions, right? Economically, we're looking at things that are really just crumbling. And cryptocurrency, how many women in crypto have now become part of this journey, right? And how many of them are rewriting history? Including you have been doing what you're doing right now, right? You're creating this new legacy that is going to be something to create a trail for the ones behind you that's now going to know, okay, this is the way I can go, and confidently see you doing it. That's what we do too. Women lead by example.
True. That's true.
You may watch you cook something, but it's like, okay, let me show you first before you do it, because you ain't gonna mess up your kitchen and have flour everywhere. You know, you're not gonna do it right, because we don't want to have to clean up the mess. So we're gonna show you by example first. And then let you go through the steps. But that's still solution based. That's still a solution based mindset, right? And so just getting back to that, you know, the economy is definitely doing things, but you know, when we can shift our mindset.
What we wanted to do is, you know, this morning we had a great show. I wanted to share a little more about so what people would be prepared. Got to prepare you. It's not to look. It is to scare you. I'm here to scare the hell out of you, because if you aren't scared, I'm scared. Okay, I'm scared, and I have a solution. So it's like, look, some things are happening with our government, and not our government, but our economy. And our economy is not so much our government as it is the banking situation. We rely on a financial system in fiat dollars, and it is a worldwide thing for the American dollar to spread around the world. But what happens when that dollar loses value, and loses value at a very rapid rate? While you and I in America are still holding these dollars, the value are going down. And the way that we see this, you can actually see it, is by the cost of everything around you. It's called inflation. And added on that, you will notice that you will see surcharges and taxes. Anybody seen those? Surcharges, taxes, new fees that have elevated themselves, and things that you want to do. Myself, for preparing for the 4th of July weekend, I've seen resort fees I've never seen in hotels for amenities that used to be a part of the hotel. I had to check in because they're higher than the taxes. So I'm wondering, why am I paying you for something I used to do because you was at your hotel? I have a great friend here. She said, if it doesn't work, you don't pay. Ms. Wanda knows it all. I love it. But the fact of the matter is, are we acknowledging that this is happening? And what are we thinking about not being able to meet the ends as we did very shortly ago? We're not going back to the source. What's happening to the money? We go, oh, why is everything going up? But if you look at the source, what's happening to the money? It's not the fun. It's not that things are going up. It's just that the money has less value. Prime example, in Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwean dollar had what we call it had hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is when your dollar goes so far down in value that you no longer can just give more of it. They were literally taking weighted amounts, poundage, to go buy a loaf of bread of these fiat dollars. So instead of a loaf of bread costing you $1, $2, the dollar bills were marked in millions and billions. Can you imagine having to take $1 billion bill to get a loaf of bread at the store?
Sound like Monopoly money to me.
Yeah. I'm like, how
You need a truck.
Exactly. There have been, and you can look this up, and we remind folks, please don't believe anything we say. Please do your research. You can find everything, including with the BK Bruja last says, it's also, she didn't make it up. She's mastering it. This woman has mastered it. That's why you pay her to go handle your business with a master. You know what I'm saying? And you don't come to my class because I made something up. I didn't discover it. I actually mastered it. I practiced. So what you're getting is a shortcut. But do the research. Find out if what we're talking about is real. So with all of this inflation to your money, to add, I should say, injury to insult, okay? Insult to injury. Our banks and our financial institutions are playing around with our money. And then they're putting laws in place to protect them from the loss that they make with our money. This has come up very recently with the banks, because the banks have all now I don't know if you guys know who the Fed is, the Federal Reserve.
The Federales.
Yes, the Federale. And and of course the FDIC has stated that it is now required that our major banks that provide liquidity or the money for our smaller banks are going to have to do a living will.
What?
Yes, my love. You don't have a living will, but they will have a living will to make sure that they confirm what activities will happen if and when they mess up your money. That gives them the rights to first-hand restoration. And that doesn't mean your accounts. On top of that, I love how people talk about their FDIC like they're your best friend. Oh,
I'm FDIC insured.
I'm FDIC insured.
Right. Don't even read the fine print.
I just need to let y'all know those rules changed back in 2023 when all that happened. Those rules changed. Yeah. Only major banks get that, and they get full recovery. By the way, yourself and myself Yourself and myself, we just got what is it? We got prioritized. That's what it was. Deprioritized. Guess how? So when everything goes poof, you would think that with your money, you, okay, had first dibs. You're not even the holder of your money. You don't control your money. Once you put your money, any money, and this goes for saving, insurance, it goes for what do you call it? Investments, it goes for retirements, 401ks, anything you have, stocks, everything. You don't hold the value. You don't hold first in line. That's not you. Guess who has first in line, first in time?
That ATM, you put it in the bank that took it.
Yep. Because they are the ones who created that fund. And when you put your money in with them, you gave them full control of it. Why did Miss Ruby in 2018 decide that cryptocurrency was the thing to do, as well as in 2020 quit her job to make sure that more people understood how blockchain and crypto work? Because I learned very early on, during my time of discovery of what the financial system really was, that I was not in control and no one was, except for the banks. You could work for a bank and still not have control of your own money. You could own a bank and still not have control of your own money. And if you're walking around with wads of cash in your pocket, I would probably find something solid to put that in, like, gold, crypto, silver, something that's going to last. Land, go buy some land. That's what I'm talking about. And don't forget the deed. Don't forget the
something
deed.
that appreciate, not depreciate.
Because honestly, no, because to your point, what's going to be left when there isn't a currency that can, because the American dollar is accepted everywhere, but what is going to be left is going to be natural resources, right? So, and then I thought about, because in certain countries in Ghana and places like that, like there's certain beads that they used to trade. And those trade beads now, when you go buy them down in Ghana, like if you tour and things like that, it's so expensive to buy them now. But there's something about that was like, okay, we'll buy them now anyway, and hold on to them because we're going back to those bartering trading days. You have seriously going to have to go back to that. Mm-hmm. And to your point of buying silver and gold, I remember being in a meditation, I heard buy a coin for your kids for their birthday this year. And I'm like, buy them for their birthday. I was like, okay. I didn't understand what that was about, but it was like, okay, get them coins. And then hearing my dad tell, my son, oh, I got to get you your coins that I'm giving you for your birthday. And I'm like, he's been doing it secretly for the last 3 years. He's been buying them silver coins and they've been putting them away. And I didn't even know. And then here I am hearing it. And I went and bought them a coin. And I was like, they're like, oh, this is going to add to our collection. But not even knowing my father was doing this already on the side, didn't even say nothing. He's just sneaking them coins. And I'm just like, okay,
that's what I'm talking about.
That in alignment to know that, when you start to really think about the economy and you really sit down with that solution space, you'll get those answers. And to your point, what is going to be left, right? So this is where we're seeing the trajectory of how things are moving. And then we're not even talking about how the economy is moving into using AI to take over jobs.
Wait.
But I'm not going to go too far into it. I'm just going to say.
Because you just opened up a door that says that we're going to do a part 2 to this conversation. Yes. All right. We got to do a part 2. At this point, no, perfect door. Yeah. Perfect doorway. Yeah. So I'm so looking forward. So we are at our time for the night. I can't believe I have to say this because we got to do what we got to do. But baby, we're going to rock out another Friday. I'm looking forward to part 2 with the BK Bruja last week. Gotta do it. Yeah. This has been an amazing episode of Black Girls in Web3. And trust and believe, if you want more of this conversation, get your tail on P2G networks.com and go sign up for some classes because this is all we be covering all the time. We are the sisters that not talk the talk, but we walk our talk and we ain't playing out here. We got my girl, Miss Wanda, up in the house in her Salty Coffee podcast. We got Dazzle D with our royal what? Open it up.
Winner's Tribe.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Well, Winner's Tribe. And of course, we have our beautiful BK Bruja laughs. Loving it. And we thank you all for another amazing, amazing Friday night. Baby, y'all be out here. Y'all know what we do. 7 p.m. Friday Eastern. Don't forget. We'll see you soon. Love you all.
Blessings.